Didn't know I could raise $1 million. Came from a poor family in Mexico. I raised $1 million.
Bill Hutchinson isn't just an investor. In a lot of ways, he is really visionary. Now, let's take the Dallas Design District as one example. This was an area that he saw for many, many years. In fact, tons of investors have seen this. Its proximity to downtown Dallas, it had really scenic views, it had large buildings, but this was untapped. Nobody had thought to assemble and to buy these buildings with really future rent appreciation in mind. Bill saw this. So he assembled and purchased the Dallas Design District in one of the largest transactions at the time. And he packaged this, including with the Virgin Hotel, and he absolutely created the future in terms of Dallas Design District. Bill's going to share a little bit about his journey and talk about how to find deals, capital raising, management, and ultimately his outlook on life. So we're super excited to welcome Bill Hutchinson, and you're not going to want to miss this story.
Thanks for having me here today, everybody. There's one subject that I love talking about. That's commercial real estate and shopping centers, retail. It's what I've been doing for the last 42 years of my life, and I love it. I came to Dallas in 1976 and studied at SMU for 4 years, graduated in 1980. And I started my company, Dunhill Partners, in 1984. And it's been a great ride. I've really enjoyed it. I picked shopping centers because unlike all the other asset classes that Jenna was just talking about, shopping centers are very unique. It's the only asset class where the tenant wants to stay where they are. If you're in the apartment business or the warehouse business or the office space business, and the guy down the street puts up a banner, 6 months free rent, you're going to go over there because it doesn't matter where you sit or where you store your boxes or what apartment you rent. You're looking for a cheap deal, the best deal. And so it's a commodity. And that's not the case in retail. In shopping centers, the tenants build their businesses in that location. They have their cards printed, their customers come there, whether you're a donut shop or a Starbucks or a tailor, or no matter what you are, that tenant or a dentist. Think about all the work that goes into building up a dentist space, the lead in the walls, all the typical dentist has 3 to 5 patients, 3 to 5,000. They all come to that location. They're not going to move if the landlord is going to just increase the rent periodically. They're going to stay put as long as they're making money. And that's a real simple concept. And y'all are probably rolling your eyes going, why are you telling me this? But that's not true in any other asset class. It is true in shopping centers. And I figured that out at the very beginning. So when I opened Dunhill Partners, I decided I'm going to be a shopping center company. I started by leasing, managing, and selling. I don't come from money. My folks are missionaries in Monterrey, Mexico. So I didn't have a big bank account. So I couldn't go on a big buying spree here in Dallas. But it took about 10 years to get the network going, just like you guys are doing now. Get to know people, make deals, network. And eventually, after 10 years, I realized the money is in ownership, not in fee. If you're a leasing agent, you're fighting for your little 4% or 3% or even maybe 6%. But that's not where the money is, and that's not how you're going to get wealthy. Wealth is created in the United States owning real estate. And it's so easy to own real estate because in the United States, more than any other country in the world, we use debt. It's called leverage. So most of your purchase price, someone's already given you the money for it. And those people are mostly up in Wall Street, and they're young, and they have an order to push out the money. Some of these young guys right out of Stanford or Harvard, they're told, you got to lend $2 billion a year. And it's hard to push out that much money. So when a guy like me comes along and says, I'll borrow money from you, they give it to you. I couldn't believe how easy it is to borrow money to buy shopping centers when I was a lot younger than I am right now. So after 10 years of leasing and management, I'm like, I'm going to start buying. And 70% of that purchase price is given to you in the form of debt. And that's cheap money. We have some of the cheapest interest in the world. Right now, debt is between 5.5% and 7.5%. So historically, that's extremely inexpensive. About 5 years ago, debt was like 3.5%, 4%. Unbelievable. We all should have bought everything we could grab because that's like free money. And it's OPM, other people's money. It's one thing I learned at SMU. I'm not really an academic, but I went to a real estate course, and I'll never forget when the teacher taught me what OPM was. And it stuck with me my whole career. You buy property with other people's money, and that's debt, and then there's equity. Those are basically the two tranches to buy. And the equity comes from wealthy people or wealthy institutions. Just like debt, they need to put their money somewhere too. And no one wants to leave the money in the bank. The bank pays less money than anybody. So if I can buy a shopping center and after expenses and after my debt service, my cash flow is at 10% annual return, which in my case, it typically is, there's all kinds of people that will give me that down payment because they can't make a safe, riskless 10% anywhere. I think S&P is 9, bank is 4.5. Don't do oil and gas is my recommendation. I've tried it many times. It's never worked for me. I thought everyone that comes to Texas needs to invest in drilling a well or two. And either they were lying or it was always a dry hole. But I never made any money on it. So I always say stick with what you know. And we're all real estate guys. I'm assuming y'all, and girls, I'm assuming y'all are in real estate. And so I really try and stick with what I know. And that's my segment of commercial real estate is shopping centers and cash flow. I love cash flow because if you buy land, you might be wrong. It might take a long time for the city to grow to where your land is. And that whole time you're waiting, you're paying interest on your debt, you're paying taxes on the land, you're paying insurance so you don't get sued, and you might be wrong on timing. When you own a shopping center, timing doesn't matter because you're cash flowing every month. So time is irrelevant when you have good cash flow. About 25 years ago, I read an article, they scared the shit out of me. And the title was The Death of the Shopping Center. Like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to find a new job. This is all I know how to do. And I read it and it was, the start of Amazon, the start of internet sales. Even grocery stores were doing take-home delivery. I don't know. Does anyone still do that today? The groceries are brought to your front door. I like walking the aisles and picking up the avocados and the bananas, but some people do that. I didn't believe in this story, and I ended up being right. I know a lot of people buy from Amazon. I don't, but your toilet paper, your things that you don't have to pick up and feel if they're rotten or not, bottles of water, people ship them to their house. Amazingly, that's never hurt the shopping center world because that's a very small percentage of retail shoppers. You'd think everybody's doing it. Even today, 25 years later, only 15% of people, only 15% of all retail goods in America are bought over the internet, which includes Amazon and all the other companies that sell stuff on the internet. All those 85% of the other sales are people driving to shopping centers. And so, the title of my speech is supposed to be the future of the shopping center, but I'm just starting with the past. They're not going away. Shopping centers are never going away. This restaurant here, which I happen to own with some buddies of mine, we love being in shopping centers. If shopping centers have become a social thing, even if you don't like walking the aisles with a grocery cart like I do, it's where people go to sit at Starbucks and work on their computer and drink their coffee and look at pretty girls. Or, you don't want to sit at home. Sitting home at your computer is very boring. Where are you going to go? You go to a shopping center. A shopping center has the athletic club, the Starbucks, the ice cream store, the restaurant that you're going to eat at with your family. So over time, tenants have changed. And so I can't say shopping centers have never had difficulty. You guys probably remember some names very fondly like I do that I'm sort of sad that they're gone. Remember Blockbuster Video? I love going there with my little kids, picking out the movies for the night, buying the popcorn and the chocolate candy. I was shocked when they went out of business. I just thought that was the coolest thing on a Friday night. That's what I always wanted to do. And they're gone now. And they were in everybody's shopping center. We had a ton of Blockbusters. I was shocked when Bed Bath & Beyond closed down about 5 years ago. You guys probably bought all your sheets and pillows and towels at Bed Bath & Beyond. Gone. Cons, gone. Tuesday Morning, gone. Household names that we've gotten used to shopping at all the time go out of business. And unfortunately, that's the cycle of life. If you don't change with the times, you don't grow, you don't learn how to compete against Amazon or Walmart, you are going to go out of business. Now, that doesn't necessarily hurt the shopping center world, because luckily, there's always some smart guy who's inventing some new concept that wants to go in those empty spaces. Lately, a lot of those spaces that have been emptied out when Bed Bath & Beyond went out of business, athletic clubs. You guys probably half of you are members in a gym. I'm not, but you guys probably are. And those gyms are all in shopping centers. And they're really the same size as what a Bed Bath & Beyond used to be. So there are replacement uses that will always backfill a sad situation when a tenant goes broke and disappears from our lives. Every Bed Bath & Beyond that I had got refilled by a cool tenant. I was just talking to someone a minute ago. Well, in Weatherford, we had Bed Bath & Beyond. We filled it with Burlington Coat Factory. So retail is very healthy, and those that die get replaced, especially with service uses. Right now, during COVID, movie theaters no one wanted to go to a movie theater. We were afraid of each other. We were afraid of catching it. We didn't want to sit in someone else's seat. Everyone stayed home to watch movies. Movie theaters are back. And at Dunhill Partners, we have several shopping centers owned by movie theaters. Gyms, health clubs, they're expanding hugely. I don't know if that's a real word, hugely. Maybe it's a Donald Trump word, but they're expanding a lot. And they're great tenants. They bring a lot of people to the property. And then those people circulate to all the other tenants. And so it's a very healthy situation. The number one anchor you would love to have is a grocery store, because everyone has to eat. Everyone has to buy food. And those grocery stores are the best anchors a shopping center could have. And so when you're buying and selling a shopping center, if you have a grocery store, you pay more for the property, which means the cap rate is lower and your cash flow is lower. At Dunhill, we have several shopping centers anchored by grocery stores. Personally, I prefer higher cash flow. I don't need the security of being anchored by a grocery store. But there are REITs out there, retail REITs. They will only buy shopping centers that are anchored by a grocery store, because it's the safest anchor tenant you could have. What I like to do is look for high cap rates in areas that are not very risky. Well, we're all opposed to risk. No one wants to lose their money. Lenders don't want to lose the money they've loaned you. And the wealthy people that gave you the equity, they don't like losing their money either. So how can you find a high cap rate when interest rates start going down again, which they're doing, and cap rates are going to go back down again, which they're doing? You go to secondary markets. You go outside of Dallas. Dallas is very expensive, and so are all the other urban capitals in the United States. Everybody here probably goes to hang out at Highland Park Village, beautiful shopping center, middle of Highland Park. The last lease they signed at Highland Park Village was $500 triple net. That's huge, unbelievable. So if you buy that shopping center, you're going to pay a very low cap for it. Well, number one, it's not for sale. But if you could buy it, Ray Washburn, my buddy, bought it 12 years ago, paid $170 million for it. It was like a 3 cap. You can't make money on a 3 cap, but he had the vision of bumping those rates. Back then, the rates averaged $40 a square foot, just 12 years ago. And now he's renting it out at, not everyone's paying $500 a foot. The jewelry stores will pay $500 a foot. Restaurants will. The mid-sized boxes will pay a lot less, $200, $250 a foot. Still amazing appreciation in rental rates, which is why I told you originally that I love shopping centers. The reason why that one does so well is I'm sure your parents told you or your teacher told you the main three fundamentals of real estate: location, 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 right? We've all heard it. It's so true. Location is everything. If you buy a property that never should have been built and it's out of the way on a bad street, you're not going to be able to lease it up. And if you do lease it up, they're going to go out of business. It's a revolving door of tenants going out of business. That's a bad thing. So if you want to get in the business and do what I do, you want a great location. We can't all find Highland Park Village, unfortunately. That's already been bought. It won't be available ever again in our lifetime. But there's shopping centers all over the place. If every one of you got in the shopping center business, you wouldn't hurt my business. There's enough room for all of us. And I highly recommend it if you're thinking about becoming a principal and investing in commercial real estate. So when I was telling you about those high cap rates, I have found them to be in the secondary markets because there aren't that many people like me hunting in those markets, and the rents are a lot lower. Like you might be a TJ Maxx, and in Dallas, TJ Maxx is paying $18 triple net. But you might buy that same TJ Maxx in Lubbock, and they're only paying $12 triple net. There's a $6 variance. It's much safer buying a TJ Maxx that's paying $12 versus a TJ Maxx in Dallas that's paying $18, and you have a lot more upside. Because I know that TJ Maxx is comfortable paying $18, so I know if I buy that TJ Maxx in Lubbock, I'm going to take him to $18, and he's going to be okay with it because he's making money. And everybody in Lubbock, in fact, small towns even better than big towns, shopping centers is their way of life. Where are these people going to go in the evening? There's nothing to do in a small town. Small towns, I don't want to offend anybody, they're pretty boring. There's not much to do. You go and hang out at the shopping center. And so those tenants do quite well in the small towns. And so that's been a rich target market for me and Dunhill Partners. Right now, currently, we have 25 shopping centers. Typically, Dunhill's between 20 and 30 because we're always buying and we're always selling. You don't make your money until you sell. You're cash flowing. Your investors enjoy the cash flow, but the real money's made when you sell. And if you buy right, you should be able to double your equity when you sell between 5 and 10 years. And that's not even including the cash flow. That's just the appreciation. Doesn't mean the shopping center's appreciated double. The shopping center hasn't gone from 20 million to 40 million. To double your equity, you just have to double the down payment. So if I paid $20 million for the center, I borrowed 15, I raised 5 million of equity, I just have to take that property from 20 million to 25 million, and I've doubled your money. It works. It's a great pitch, and people love it. And in the meantime, while you're waiting for that double, you're getting about a 10% annual return. And that's what shopping centers do for us. So that's what we do at Dunhill. That's my past, present, and future on the shopping center. A lot more service uses, not so many dry goods. A lot of dry goods went out of business because of companies like Amazon, but there will always be backfilled uses for empty spaces, always. So don't be afraid of it. Right now, Dunhill Partners has a investor list. I was told just a couple of days ago by our investor relations guy, 800 people. And that is, we've never advertised for equity. Now, my company's 41 years old now, but with 800 people, you can buy anything in the world. It's amazing. Some of those people are billionaires. Some of those people give me $25,000. It's like the bell curve. I'll take any amount. I don't have a minimum. I don't have a maximum. I bought the Dallas Design District for you. You guys might know that. I built the Virgin Hotel in the middle of it. And it was all a mistake, by the way. I should stick to what I know. Stick to shopping centers. I can make mistakes. I admitted it already, right? I raised $50 million for it. 30 of it came from 3 guys. 10 million, 10 million, and 10 million. I was shocked. I'm like, oh God, now I just have to raise 20. And that was a lot of little small people. And at the end of the day, it was 120 investors you can, it doesn't matter the size of your investor group. If it's a small deal, you might only have 12 investors. If it's a big deal, you might have 120 investors like I did. I take any size. If you're telling me, Bill, I've got $43,412.30. Can I invest that in your next deal? I'm going to take that amount of money. And whatever that percentage is of the down payment, you own that percentage of the shopping
you're
center.
buying, you're raising equity deal by deal. You're not looking
Deal by deal. I don't do a fund. Funds scare me because I have to pay you a return every month. If I take your money and put it in a fund and I'm just waiting to buy things, it's not cash flowing. It's not earning money. And you might say, where's my distribution this month? Well, I haven't bought anything yet, Juan, I'm sorry. And so I only raise money when I have a deal. And then you're going to see that deal. I'm saying this deal starts paying a 9.5% return. I'm going to take it up to a 12 and I'm going to double your money in 5 years. But you know what you're going to own. A fund or a pool, it's a little bit more abstract. You don't know what I'm going to spend that on. And I'm capable of making mistakes because I'm going to rush because I want to hurry up and spend that pool of money so it can start generating profits for the investors. And so I feel a lot of pressure. Right now, if I don't have anything under contract, there's no pressure. I don't have your money. I'm not having to pay you. When I close a deal, you're getting a check in 30 days. It's the cash flow from the first month and every 30 days after that. You know, even if you're a billionaire, I've learned this lesson. I've got a lot of billionaire friends now. Billionaires love getting monthly money. You'd think they wouldn't even care because they're a billionaire. And a lot of them like it in paper. You know, we've changed our company now. It used to be paper checks. Now we're ACH, where it just automatically goes in your account. Some of the older, richer guys want the paper check. They want to turn it over. They want to endorse their name on the back, and they want to drive to the branch bank. Even billionaires do that because it makes them feel good. They're seeing, I made this money. Bill sent me this money this month.
Yeah.
So I hope that answered your question about equity.
Yeah.
All of you could raise a couple $1 million right now, I promise you. You don't even know you could, and you can. What's that?
That's the easiest part of real estate, really.
There you go.
The hard part is getting executed.
Some people are afraid to call for money. Some people are embarrassed. They think asking for money is begging. It might have been how I felt at the beginning, but then when you realize, wow, they're glad I called. Wow, they want to put their money in. And they're asking me to call their mom too, or their uncle, or can I put my 2 children in? All of a sudden you realize I'm doing them a favor. I'm so glad I called. And then it's fun. It becomes a game. You know, when we put a property under contract at Dunhill, that's when I kick into gear because I'm the one who raises the equity. And I love making those calls. And when there's nothing under contract, my days aren't as fun. You know, you're managing, you're leasing, you're doing all the mundane stuff. But raising money for a new deal is the most exciting part for me and my business.
Today's market specifically, what are you looking for in a shopping center itself? And then twofold to that question is it a good time to buy?
Location is number one. Do I like the location of that property? Number two, does it have good ingress and egress with the streets? I'm not trying to get technical, but some shopping centers are in good locations, but you can't get into them. Or there's a median in the road that doesn't have a curb cut. So half of the traffic on that street isn't going to go into your property. Don't buy it. It's amazing how when it's time to make leases, when you own it, it's like no one's going to lease in there because there's not a median cut. That's important. South Lake is a great place to buy real estate. So location, demographics. You don't want to be where no one has money. I know that sounds corny and simple, but it's so true. And sadly, that's why South Dallas doesn't have a lot of retail because your tenants don't want to go there. Your developers aren't going to go there. You don't want to buy there. You're going to go down there to try and show spaces and you might get killed. Or there's needles in the parking lot that you might step on and there's graffiti in the alley. Don't buy those things. Stay where it's safe. Stay where you don't mind getting out of your car, walking around, and you're proud to own that property. You're proud to bring your wife and kids and say, guess what? We just bought this. If you're not proud of that shopping center, don't buy it. It's a bad deal. And then you look at the rent roll. You look at who's in the property. Does it have TJ Maxx? Does it have Ross? Does it have Starbucks? And you look at the rates. Are they too high or do they have room to grow? And, you know, when I started, rates were $10 to $12 a square foot on average across the board everywhere. And a cap rate was a 10. That was back when I started. Now you're lucky if you could find an 8 cap. Most good deals are around a 7, especially if it has a grocery store in it. You look at the rent roll, you look at the rates. Can I grow these rates? When this expires in 2 years, can I bump it from 30 to 35? If it's 20, I'm much more comfortable bumping a 20 than a 30, right? Rates are a lot higher now than they used to be. And they're getting high. Dallas still has very low rents. So it's a good time to buy in Dallas still. I mean, for those who say, oh, the good deals are gone. They were good when you were buying them 12 and 20 years ago, but now everything's too expensive. That is just not true. Our rents are still so low compared to Miami, New York, Chicago, LA, San Francisco. Dallas rents are incredibly low. Look at what's going on Knox Street right now. You know what they're getting? They're getting $100 triple net. Just 5 years ago, they couldn't even get 50. And now they're getting 100 because Michael Dell came in. He's building those high rises, putting the Bears Hotel. I'm a partner in the Toulouse and the Taverna on Knox Street. We just signed 5-year extensions there, $120 triple net. That was unheard of 5 years ago. So rates have a lot of room to grow. So it's not too late to buy. It's a good time to buy real estate. It's a great time to buy shopping centers.
What has been your special sauce that have allowed you to beat out calls?
When I bought the Dallas Design District, I was competing against Ross Perot, Michael Dell, the biggest names in the country, all trying to buy the Dallas Design District. My differentiator is relationships. This is still a world where relationships count. If I get to know you guys today and you call me in 5 years and we're going to remember each other, you're going to do the deal with me. And so it's all about relationship. When I put a deal or try to put a deal under contract and I really want it, and usually it's going through brokers, JLL, CBRE, Cushman Wakefield, Strive, I know the brokers. I've been here for 41 years. I tell that broker, John, I really want this deal. Give me the last whisper. And they will. We are still a people-friendly business. We are still relationship-oriented business. You're right. There's lots of companies that have a lot more money than Dunhill Partners. And if they want to get aggressive, they can. I bought the W Hotel downtown. I paid $111 million for it. I was told I could get it for 110, so I put in 110. And then they awarded the deal to a company from LA. And I called the broker. I said, you said I had it 110. Why did it just get awarded to this company in LA? He goes, well, they agreed to pay 111. Why didn't you call me? I'm 24/7. And they said, well, we didn't think you would because you said the most you would pay was 110. I said, I was joking. You always say that, but you're always willing to pay more. I said, okay, I'll pay 112. And he said, well, we've already awarded it to the company in LA. I said, no. Have you signed the contract yet? Well, of course not. We just awarded it to them. Then I'm going to pay 112. I'm $1 million higher than them. Award it to me. They did. It's relationship. It's relationships. And that's why we get what we get. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah. Big round of applause. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, Bill.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Ron.
it. It's
A lot
been
of fun.
time, and
Appreciate it.